Well, hey there, everybody. It's the Monty'man with this week's Monty'man's Meditorial, which I've entitled The Box. And we're going to talk about that here in just a minute. My goodness sakes, with all the character assassination that's been going on in the last several months, you know, with the election and politics and COVID and just, you know, the right and the left and the left and the right and the in-between. And oh my goodness sakes, it gives me a migraine just to try to stay on top of all the, well, quite frankly, the disgusting behavior and the childlike immaturity of so many people on both sides and everything in the middle. I even have to check my own motives and behaviors. I mean, it's just getting bizarre, right? We're at war with each other, heck with other countries. My goodness sakes. I mean, are we going to crumble within? Come on, folks, grow up, right? But I got to check myself here at home in my own backyard, first and foremost. I really, really do. Well, there's a poem that I came across years ago when I was attending Petaluma Senior High School. And it is all, I've always remembered it. It always stands out to me when our world seems to be in turmoil. And, you know, we're used to thinking of war as well, something a little different than what it is today. But I believe we're at war with each other. So here's this poem, and take it for what it's worth. It is something to think about. Here it goes. Well, once upon a time in the land of Hushabye, around about the wondrous days of yore, they came across a sort of box. It was bound up with chains and locked with locks, and it had a label. It said, "Please, don't play about with war." Well, a decree was issued roundabout, all with a flourish and a shout and a gaily colored mascot tripping lightly on before, stating, "Don't fiddle with this deadly box. Don't break the chains. Don't pick the locks. And please, don't ever play about with war." Well, the children, they understood. You see, children happened to be good, and they were just as good around the time of yore. They didn't try to pick the locks or break into the deadly box, and they never, ever played about with war. Mommies didn't either, sisters, aunts, or grannies neither, because they were sweet and pretty in those wondrous days of yore. They didn't try to pick the locks. They didn't break the chains. They didn't kick the box, and they never played about with war. But you see, someone did. Someone battered in the lid and spilled the insides out across the floor, a kind of bouncy, bumpy ball made up of all the guns and chains and flags and all the mess that goes with war. It went crashing out and bashing all about and bumping into everything in store. And what was sad and most unfair is that it really didn't seem to care much who it bumped, or why, or what, or for. It bumped the children mainly. And I'll tell you this quite plainly, it bumps them every day and more, and leaves them dead and burned and dying, thousands of them, sick and crying. Because when it bumps, it's really very, very sore. Well, there is a way to stop the ball. Actually, it's not difficult at all. All it takes is wisdom. And I'm absolutely sure that we could get it back into that box, bind the chains, lock the locks, but no one seems to want to save the children anymore. Well, that's the way it all appears, because it's been bouncing around for years and years, despite all the wisdom whiz since those wondrous days of yore. And the time they came across this box, bound up with chains and locked with locks, and labeled, "Kindly do not touch. It's war." Well, there you go. So when I think of all it takes is wisdom, and I'm absolutely sure we can get it back into the box, what I hear is this. You know, we are so concerned about what's right, what's fair, but what about what's wise? It's something to think about. Until next time, this is the Monty'man, and I am wishing God's perfect serenity for you. Bye-bye now.
This has been a broadcast of Take 12 Recovery Radio and KHLT Recovery Broadcasting.